Tesco's, the biggest supermarket in the United Kingdom. And for years, you guys have been begging and begging and begging for me to build it. And the day has finally arrived. So for all of my American viewers, Tesco is basically the equivalent of Walmart or Target. And there's just one thing left to do before we begin. That'll be $9.99, please. That's right, guys. I've got the headgear on. I've got the Tesco vest. And with all that said, let's get shopping. So it goes without saying, Tesco is an enormous store. It might actually be like the biggest supermarket in the UK. And so that means we're gonna have to definitely build a gigantic X so we can find the center line. Now, if we swipe over to my little photo album here, I've basically gathered together a collection of pictures of Tesco. They're sometimes shaped in like the shape of a bungalow, but then sometimes they're really modern. So I think today I'm gonna go for a modern one, which of course we need to start very far back because we need a gigantic car park. So this here is gonna be our entryway bit in the middle, and they always sort of protrude a little bit outwards. We then use the commercial doors and we get not one, not two, but three commercial doors. Now this is the entry one and this is the exit one. And once me and my sister tried to go through the exit and the security went ballistic. You would have thought we shot this man up or something. All we did was walk through the wrong door and he was having none of it. Now I don't actually really have a Tesco near my house, so I don't go that often, but I have been to Tesco probably 100 times in my life, so I know what it's like. And for once, guys, I do not have to make sure I'm adding depth and stuff because it's just a supermarket. They are just big squares, okay? Yes, this is definitely a square, not a rectangle. So now that we've got the base in, we are going to make it 2 stories high, but the reason I've made it 2 walls high is because obviously the ceilings are quite high. Now, if we are, after all, going to be going for this modern look, then I'm just going to be using the flat roof and we're going to have it pointing out a little bit like that. And then here is where it's going to get a little bit expensive. Now, you may notice I have $100,000. This needs to change. So as much as it pains me, I'm going to have to flipping buy money, guys. I hate doing this. I've actually probably bought about 10 million Bloxburg dollars and I've spent them all. But you know, needs must. I've got to be making this video for y'all. So we want to make sure these are very easy to place. So a little something like that seems all right. And then we also want it to be sticking in as far as possible without it poking through the walls. So we can now place this on medium grid, which is absolutely lovely. And look at how easy this is, y'all. I don't know why I put this off for so long. Honestly, when I say this is probably my most requested video, I'm not joking. Like, everybody always is begging for a Tesco. But here I am, guys, and we are kicking it off with a bang. Now for the windows, y'all don't even need an explanation. We all knew it was going to be the commercial windows. Now the first one's going to be the wide one, and then the second type is going to be the skinny one. Now for both of these, we're obviously going to have to make them nice and tall and resize them out a little bit. And also, I'm not going to make the dumb noob mistake that I always make, where I paste all the windows before I color them. And if we're looking at our pictures, most of the windows seem to be white. Eventually, I came up with this design, which I think looks fine. So let's just slap all of these over here. And we can actually put windows up here today. Normally, this is where we might put our supermarket logo. But Tesco, oh no, they don't work like that, honey. Tesco has their logo written above the top. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to do their logo justice. So what I am going to do is try and find a Tesco decal, okay? I know this may be disappointing, but trust me, this is for the best, guys. This is what is best for the family. So if we got up to this, I'm pretty sure somebody would have uploaded Tesco. So yeah, we just want something like that. The thing is, it's very small, isn't it? There's only so far you can resize this. But just before we do that, I'm gonna grab a few more decals. For example, just like some of these weird Tesco adverts, they're taking the pistachio. What? And I'm looking up the iconic Tesco club card. If you did not know, the Tesco club card is basically the loyalty card for Tesco, and it's actually really good. 100 club card points gives you £1 to spend in store, and you get 1 point for every £1 spent. Which means if you spend £100, you get £1 on your club card. And no, this is not an advert for Tesco, guys. Anyway, what are we doing? Oh yeah, the Tesco sign. I think that might be just big enough, okay? Oh, That looks so good, but it does look a bit small, but I think it's okay. Also, it's literally not even in the middle. Now, what we're going to put in this middle bit is that iconic, like, it's almost like a hip roof, isn't it? It's like, I don't know why they have this, but they do. And they also have like a flipping clock tower in it. I'm actually gonna have to be a bit smart with this. This is a little bit tall. It's actually blocking out the Tesco sign. So what we're gonna have to do instead is use a basic shape and then a basic pyramid.
Like I say, we only want this to be very small. It literally just needs to be big enough to fit a little clock on it after all.
And this is literally made out of roof shingles. Like, what in the Britishness is that? Oh my gosh, no, that looks too real, guys. And I swear I've seen people make videos like, why does every UK supermarket have a clock on it? I don't know. We're mentally unstable, but I am in love with that. So really, the last thing that we need to do before we go inside is the car park. I forgot how easy supermarkets are to actually build. Well, on the outside anyway. So we're gonna wrap around a pathway because of course we don't want a road like right where you need to get in, because otherwise the poor little old ladies crossing the road trying to get their Tesco's shopping gonna be getting crushed. Now, unlike America, we don't really have nice plants and things outside our supermarkets. We just have like free range chavs, just like people there smoking, probably a bit of trash as well, just like rolling around the street. Not to make England sound dusty, but yeah, the supermarkets are not that good. So speaking of walkways, Tesco's and other supermarkets will make sure that they have walkways for cars, no, for people, so that they don't get hit by cars. And we also have bollards. Wait, what the hell are they called? I swear they're called bollards. Yes, here they are. And I'm actually gonna take the light out of mine because I don't really want them to be lighting things up. These are just more for the decoration. Now, if you've ever wondered what bollards are actually for, it's to stop people in their cars, like driving through big car parks and like running a bunch of people over. But yeah, so if you've ever wondered what these are for, they're not only to light things up, they are for human safety as well. And then in the middle ones, we're gonna have these a little wider, and that's because we're gonna be popping like trolleys and things in here. Now, do you know what one of my fondest memories of Tesco is? And this might be a weird one. It was the beginning of lockdown 2020. So do you remember right at the beginning where it was like, you would go to supermarkets, there would be massive queues outside just to go and get your shopping. I went with my sister like on one of those first days because you were only allowed to leave the house if you were like going on a walk or going to the shop or something. So we went to Tesco and there was this huge line, and then I just remember only one of us could go in. And I don't know why that's such a fond memory, but I think lockdown, I might have been one of the only people who actually enjoyed it because I was literally just like 14. I was just like, oh my gosh, yay, missing school. And how many cars do I have today? I have a lot actually. Okay, this is perfect. So let's get parking our cars. We'll just have a few different ones here and there. I'm not gonna add too many.
A few minutes later.
And this actually looks so realistic. Adding the cars was such a good idea. So I actually went on the weekly shop yesterday, and I go every single week. And these little trolley things, I just like threw my trolley into it the other day. I actually was like, afterwards, I was like, geez, was that a bit aggressive? Because I couldn't be bothered to walk all the way over to it. So I just, like I say, just like pushed it in. So I don't really like how it looks when it's all thin and pathetic. So, oh, it looks a bit weird thick though. Oh gosh, I'm having a dilemma. And I would have liked to make this a little bit more thick and chunky.
I like them chunky.
Now, I'm surprised Bloxburg has not yet added trolleys into the game. Like, we have them in BFF Supermarket. Whenever I want to do a flipping roleplay with a trolley, I have to go all the way to BFF Supermarket. Let me check, actually. Do we have them in our backpacks? What do you guys call it, a shopping cart? Oh my gosh! We have... Since when have we had this, guys? Okay, I'll shut up now. Anyway, I'm almost certain that that is the exterior done. I'm really just being a perfectionist here, but I think I'm just gonna add some like public trash cans and things. Oh, and also some advertisements. As we walk in, this is gonna be the start of our lights. And I don't actually like white lights, but I don't mind when they're light stone grey. So if I look up Tesco aisle, I just need to see the floor. Oh my gosh, yeah! Okay, so as we can see, it's slightly different in each shop, but for the most part, it is the same. It's this, isn't it? It's like the sequin. And then the final thing before we can start adding in all the aisles in different departments is adding in the lights. Now, I am gonna have to be incredibly clever with this. If you've ever got a big building for whatever reason, always make sure you're doing your lights equals equals, because it's a small detail, but it's one that matters massively. So I've just placed like a few different segments so we can see like where the center line is. And I'm going to be using these ones mainly because I'm pretty sure this is what they have in Tesco. And they can be resized down because we obviously want them hanging just a little bit above the aisles. Now, what I was talking about a few minutes ago with the club card being a mini bit of a scam is that what I think they're doing is they're just hiking up the prices of normal things massively and then making out like they're giving huge discounts when in reality they've just hiked the original price up. So for example, they might be selling like a piece of bread for £2 or something, and then they're like, with club card you can get it for £1. It should only be £1 anyway, mate. And that is just a theory, guys. Tesco, don't sue me. But also I'm pretty sure every supermarket does that, and my supermarket that I shop at doesn't even give you anything. But here we go, guys. We can now officially start building. So I think the first department I'm going to start with is the clothing section, and I actually need to pull something up. Shut up! So as you can see, we've got the aisles, but then we've got F&F Clothing, which is the clothing brand. All the cash registers along here. But then I also found this one, which I don't know if this is Tesco or not, but I thought we could use as a little bit of inspiration. That the clothing store section of Tesco actually has a slightly different flooring to the rest. It's like a bit more of a grand wood. And let's get started with our clothing section. So we'll search up the clothes rack. So you may or may not notice I'm actually using some basic shapes here for the rails. So these are eventually going to be popped on there like that. Let's just make sure that they're long enough for 3. But yeah, as suspected, it's not going to let us copy and paste it with the clothes, but that's fine. So we want to be using the ones that don't really have drawers in them, because that's just giving a rich millionaire closet. We want to be using the ones that are giving like clothing store. And just to pop it into your heads, this is what it looks like. And again, look at the club card, guys, 25% off. I'm also going to make sure I add some mirrors, because that's the other thing about the supermarkets, is they will always have a gazillion mirrors for you to be looking at. And of course we want them to be full length, because the actual purpose of these is so that you can like look at the clothing that you're trying on. Now, as we just discovered in that photograph, they actually have some like cage looking display cabinets. So I think in the middle here, I'm going to add that cage. And now this is where we can use some other items in Bloxburg, like towels. Towels are actually really good at looking like folded up clothes. And honestly, I love this. So I just copied that style really around the rest of the sides. And there we have it, guys. F&F is completed. So I just added like a little spiral rack and stuff, but I'll show you more in depth, of course, when we go inside. Now, I did just want to see if I could find an F&F decal. I mean, I very much doubt it, but okay, sadly, I couldn't find a F&F sign, but I did manage to find like some Tesco related clothing style signs. Also, I think here would be the perfect place for the technology section. So there's actually something called Tesco Mobile, which I'm assuming must only be a UK thing. Tesco actually sells a lot of phones. Why not just add the box that iPhones come in? And these days, they are so thin, aren't they? iPhone boxes are literally skinny legends. And I'm gonna try and make it, like I say, those iconic Tesco-y colors. Now, perhaps here is an area where you can like open the phone and try it out, because of course, if you're like a little old lady getting a brand new like iPhone 15 or something, you're gonna need to like sit down and chat with her about it. And then in Tesco's, you probably will find a couple of like laptops and phones and things. And then they obviously do sell some TVs as well. So that is like the electronic part of Tesco. Now, all along the front is where the cash registers are gonna go. Now, I think we should just build one of these and then get it done, because not gonna lie, who the hell wants to sit and build cash registers over and over again? Not me. So actually, maybe I should be really smart with this. Maybe we should build it copy and pasteable. And then just here, I'm gonna resize that down. And then just here is obviously gonna be the conveyor belt. But I actually have this one lady, guys, which I go to every single time I go to the shops, and we always have a little conversation. And then over here is going to be the self-checkout. So it's going to be a similar sort of style. And if I ever do use a self-checkout, I always get a receipt, because I'm scared they think I'm stealing. Is that just me? Even if I'm just like walking around a shop, I have a fear that the people who work there think I'm stealing or something, and I'm just like, I'm not. So now the final section of this video is basically going to be adding the aisles with all the food in, and I am going to change these decals. Don't worry, guys. We're not just going to have the same ones everywhere. Now, sadly, there is nothing original about UK aisles. There is no story or lore I can give you here, but yeah, they are actually made out of wood. So these are going to be going in the majority of the aisles, and then as we get over here, I think I'll make like a freezer section or something. Damn! Just casually gonna have to buy another $100,000. Oh my goodness, guys. You might be thinking, why don't you go to work or delete a plot? There's literally no plots I have left that I'm willing to delete. Now, you may have seen that I actually just went into the bottom to get some mini fridges. And then above these, I'm gonna try and add like the beverage fridge. You gotta do what you gotta do for Tesco, haven't ya? And that actually looks sickeningly amazing. So finally, we'll color it. And the only thing left to do is stock the shelves. So these ones are actually gonna be appliances. Now, we may well go bankrupt if I don't start adding the cheaper things. But also, along the top shelf are gonna be boxes. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but in supermarkets, above the shelves or in the top shelf, they will actually have boxes of the product. And yeah, this is how I finished the video, just scattering around a bunch of cereals. With that, Tesco is built. So let's go see Big Tesco. Okie dokie, guys. If you're wondering, this plot values at $830,000, and let's name it Big Tesco. That's because there's also a smaller version of this store called Tesco Express or Tesco Extra, and this one is obviously Big Tesco. So as we first arrived, there's not many cars in the car park. This is a good day, guys. You know that not many people are going to be banging into you, so you'll go get your shopping cart, which will be in one of those, or they'll have a little rack at the front, and this is where we could start our shopping journey. So you walk in, you just walk straight through. Now, the first thing I'd normally buy is whatever really is at the front of the store. I very much go in order. Then we go to the freezer aisle. Now, my favorite things to buy from the freezer aisle are hash browns. I love them with a fry up. Also, I buy some raspberry tarts sometimes and other little freezer snacks like some frozen vegetables or something like that. And then obviously we have other things on this side. Now, typically I'm not buying a blender or anything or plates or a kettle, but it's nice to have that in a big shop like Tesco. Then if we make our way over here, we have F&F, the iconic Tesco clothing store. And then finally is the electronics section where we can go buy our new iPhone. And then you will leave the supermarket, making sure you go out the right way or you will get screeched at. So there we have it, guys. That was me building Tesco. Let me know what else you want me to build in Bloxburg, and I'll see you all in the next one.